Hello everyone! Let me share my thoughts on the 9th International Research to Practice Conference, which took place on the 26th and the 27th of October 2017 in Astana. Overall, my impressions of the conference are quite positive, as it was generally well organized, speakers were worth listening to, and some precious experiences and ideas were shared. However, in order to judge objectively, some issues with catering lunch, where people had to stand in long queues for half an hour and face scarcity of available meals, poor quality of some presentations in terms of research methods and delivery, and misspelling of my surname on my badge, even though I provided correct information during registration, should be mentioned. In this video, however, I am going to focus on one speech which, in my opinion, deserves our attention and could serve as a good example of a conference presentation. Dushenkul Shamatov, a professor from the Graduate School of Education, gave a presentation on the topic of reconceptualization of assessment practices in developing countries. The professor tried to address a very important issue that traditional assessment practices, which are mainly based on paper and pencil examinations and tests, dominate the majority of educational contexts all over the world, and they are proved to be inefficient. The professor conducted study in the Aga Khan University Institute for Educational Development in Karachi, Pakistan. Selection of the venue, semi-structured interviews, and maximum variation sampling allowed the researcher to gather accurate and informative data. According to the researcher, students who participated in this program declared that their thinking of and view on assessment had changed tremendously. Moreover, they reported their readiness to use new assessment practices that they learned from their professors, from learning from the courses and also from observing their instructors, that they will use them in their practice once they go back home, although they were well aware of some potential challenges they may encounter on the road. The researcher concludes that we all can strive to make assessment fair and just for all groups, thus pursuing equity as a principle along with the belief that change is possible. In the above-mentioned presentation, Professor Shamatov raised a very important issue of fair assessment everyone has a right to. His research made a valuable contribution to the body of language on the to the body of knowledge on this topic, and re-emphasized the vitality of this issue to the research participants who will be actual implementers of these new assessment practices. However, there are some limitations which may have impacted the results of the study. Firstly, due to the scarcity of time, the researcher had chance to observe and to interview the participants only twice. Secondly, he didn't have a chance to ask and know about how they will use these practices and what exactly they learned from their courses and professors. To the question of how to use modern assessment practices in large classrooms with 30 to 40 students, the researcher answered that it still would be possible if to organize this process properly and manage your time. In conclusion, I found this presentation very useful and beneficial, as it expanded my knowledge on the topic of alternative assessment practices and made me think of the issue of mass implementation of these new assessment practices into modern educational system. The benefit of such conferences should not be doubted, as they serve as a platform for experienced researchers to share their knowledge and allows young emerging researchers and practitioners to learn how to conduct a study and how to apply the findings to practice. Inspirational speeches of some professional counterparts motivated me to pursue the topic that interests me and study it more thoroughly. I hope it was useful for you, and thank you for your attention.